Now at 6, a trial date is set after a McDonald County, Missouri woman is charged for the murder of her husband. Plus,
a recent study found that the number of children overdosing on melatonin has increased greatly, especially in Missouri. I'm Bronte Sorotsky with a local pharmacist's advice on how to take the sleep aid safely.
And a local car dealership partners with an organization to make a warm donation.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Authorities capture one of 3 inmates who broke out of the Berry County, Missouri jail. This is KOAM News at 6. Officers late today announced the capture of escapee Christopher Blevins in Casper, Wyoming. Lance Stevens, Matthew Crawford, and Blevins had escaped from the Berry County jail in Cassville on Friday. They were considered armed and dangerous. Investigators think one or more of the escapees stole a pickup in Berry County, then stole an SUV in Salina, Kansas, and ditched it in Wallace County, Kansas, near the Colorado line. Authorities say one escapee might have been spotted in Springfield, Missouri, and one in Arkansas. You'll find much more on this case, including how they escaped, on KOAMNewsNow.com. A McDonald County, Missouri woman is now going to trial after allegedly killing her husband. Investigators say Don Wynn is charged with second-degree murder and armed criminal action. In November of last year, deputies responded to a home on Pleasant Grove Road, west of Anderson. When officers arrived, they found Wynn's husband, Harold Lee Wynn, dead from a gunshot wound to the head. The trial is scheduled for next Thursday, June 16th. A Coffeyville, Kansas woman is dead following a crash in Nowata County, Oklahoma. Authorities say Kaylin Kendrick was driving south on US 169 when she crossed the center line and struck another vehicle head-on. Kendrick died at the scene. The driver of the second vehicle was not seriously injured. Authorities say 5 people were killed and 5 others injured after a large truck hit a van in southeast Arkansas yesterday afternoon. That van belonged to a school that served disabled adults. Reporter Ian Russell has more.
Southeastern Arkansas may be widespread, but it doesn't mean the community isn't tight-knit. And when anything happens, the news spreads quickly. Unfortunately, it's bad news this time. According to state police, 5 people were killed when a bus from C.B. King Memorial School failed to yield at the intersection of Highways 35 and 165.
It's a wonderful, close community. Everybody know everybody. Everybody care for everybody.
Dolly Wilson is a born and raised member of the McGee community. She says she wasn't anywhere close to where the accident happened, but she heard about it almost immediately.
For this to happen Monday was just like, I don't want to hear it, no, somebody got something wrong, you know, and everything. And the reality of it is true.
Those that knew the victims are still grieving.
It was kind of hard for me to accept that she had passed away, and I still get a little emotional.
But their memory is keeping Rosie Beverly going. She knew Geraldine Pruitt, or Lil Bit as she was known around town, better than most. Beverly was her caretaker for a couple of years. She says Geraldine was a student at C.B. King, which provides services for people with developmental delays.
She said she was a little bit. She just talked all the time. She knew everything going on around here in McGee.
It's memories like those that are getting this community through. It's tough, but they're taking it one day at a time.
You still got to get used to it. You try to smile, and you try to, you know, you're going to look beyond this later, but it's still, in our heart, it's still a sadness.
The ages of the victims killed in that crash ranged from 19 to 73 years old. Let's check in with Doug for a first look at the weather.
Well, again, we did get some scattered showers, even a few thunderstorms in here during the morning hours into the early afternoon. So a lot of clouds kind of sticking around throughout the afternoon as this band dropped through, kind of was dying as it was pushing through. But the clouds have been breaking up, so if you want to get outside over the next few hours for the evening hours, it looks pretty good. In fact, temperatures are great. This band's rolling away. We get about 24 hours or so to dry out, which is going to be nice to see. All right, 76 in Stockton, 71 in Miami. We have Bonita sitting at 74. Chanute a little bit warmer with some sun, up to about 81. We're going to slide back through the 70s into the 60s, eventually upper 50s later on tonight. We are going to get some patchy fog in here, so we got to watch out for that and more thunderstorms back in tomorrow night. So we're going to detail that here in just a bit.
See you then. According to a CDC study, melatonin overdoses in children have skyrocketed over the past 10 years, including a spike in use during the pandemic. As one local pharmacist explains, there are ways to use the sleep aid safely in children, but dosages for over-the-counter medicine still present some challenges. KOAM's Bronte Sorotsky has more.
Many know melatonin as a popular sleep aid. It's something you can get over the counter at the store. But its accessibility could be why there's been such an increase in children overdosing on the sleep aid. A study from the CDC shows the number of children overdosing on the sleep aid has grown by 530% over the last decade.
Something to be aware of with over-the-counter products is they're not regulated by the FDA.
Because these sleep aids are considered a dietary supplement, they're regulated less strictly by the FDA. Isaacs with Stone's Corner Pharmacy says it's important for people, especially parents, to put more thought into the medication they buy for their families.
Just because it says 1 milligram on the bottle doesn't mean that there's 1 milligram or sometimes that there's any of it in there, which can be kind of scary. But getting it from a trusted source and being able to ask questions is really important to make sure you know what you're consuming, because over-the-counter products are different than prescription products.
His advice: talk with your doctor or local pharmacist when it comes to over-the-counter drugs and their dosage.
Melatonin helps us with our sleep-wake cycle, and sometimes it helps to reset. There's a lot of reasons why people don't sleep well, and that's just one of the possible factors. Dosing does matter.
When it comes to finding the right dose for a child, it's best to consult with an expert first.
It's harder to find what is the exact dosage that's okay for a child. Those things are harder to get at, and so it's good not to experiment with that. If you're a parent and you're looking at this, ask questions and to try to figure out what would be a proper dose.
In Joplin, Bronte Sorotsky, KOAM News.
Experts recommend keeping melatonin and, of course, other drugs out of the reach of children. Coming up, Friendship Fields Day Camp opens up today. We're going to tell you what this year's activities are. Plus, a Joplin organization hits the road to Carl Junction for a business meeting. This week, Girl Scouts are on their annual trip to Friendship Fields Day Camp. The camp has more than 30 volunteers with 60 campers, grades K through 12, some traveling from as far away as Texas. Activities for the girls include kayaking, canoeing, and fishing.
Anytime a girl catches a fish for the first time, or gets on a kayak for the first time, or a canoe, or starts your first fire, it makes everything worth it. All the hours and time we put into planning this, it makes everything worth it.
Camp runs for 4 days. Our reporter Jalen Banks spoke to some Girl Scouts attending the camp, and we're going to hear from them tonight at 10. A Joplin organization today made its way to Carl Junction. 1 Million Cups hosts meetings with members of the Joplin Chamber of Commerce, complete with coffee, and today they host a meeting for businesses in CJ. Officials hope events like this can boost the local economy.
There's a lot of great feedback from people that have been through starting a business, running a business, and it was good to get a bunch of feedback.
If you're interested in learning more about 1 Million Cups, you can visit our website, koamnewsnow.com. Local car dealership teamed up with an organization to make a warm donation. Frank Fletcher Subaru and Leukemia and Lymphoma Society donated blankets to patients from the Freeman Cornell Bashore Cancer Institute. The donation is a tradition with the dealership as it celebrates its Subaru Loves to Care event in June. The goal of the donations is to spread hope and warmth to the patients during treatments.
I think it's amazing. I think that, we really appreciate the fact that they care so much for the community, and especially for our cancer patients. We are very appreciative.
They also donated metal lunch boxes containing art supplies to Children's Miracle Network hospitals for pediatric patients. A Joplin nonprofit organization served the community with a drive today. Newly formed Friends of the Joplin Public Library launched a membership drive so they could grow the services of the Joplin Public Library. The drive's goal is to raise funds for the library by having people enroll in memberships. They see this as a chance to improve community awareness and provide more support for the library.
And we, of course, want to support the already strong programs that this library already offers. And libraries are like schools and many other entities that an outside support group is often a real boost for them.
Yearly dues start at $5 for students under 18, $10 for an individual membership, $20 for a family. A little bit later, it's day one of the Pitt State Women's Basketball High School Camp. Jacob Leonard's going to have more.
Plus more thunderstorms, of course, in the forecast for us by Thursday night. We're going to look at that coming up. Well, we got some scattered showers, even a few thunderstorms in here during the morning hours into the early afternoon. Still a lot of clouds out there, which you can see very evident on our Landers Chevrolet tower cam on the southeast side of the city, looking at Interstate 44 eastbound toward the 249 loop. Temperatures a little bit cooler on the Missouri side, more clouds, more sun, a little warmer. Upper 70s to about 80 degrees once you get into our western counties. It looks pretty good. 7th and range line sitting at 76, a northerly wind at about 10, humidity is at 69%. Through the evening hours, we drop back through the 70s, 60s, eventually into the upper 50s later on tonight. With the moisture on the ground, the wind's light, we're going to get some patchy fog in here, especially after midnight. All right, clouds kind of breaking up, rain heading away from us. We look pretty good, actually, through the evening hours as this wave continues to rotate off toward the south into the east. However, here's our next wave. You can see it in center of Montana, and if you follow the arrows, it drops right in. Once again, by the time we head into tomorrow night, and then also on Friday morning. So let's go through time. For us tonight, just the patchy fog. We dip back into the upper 50s. Plenty of sunshine during the morning, warm into the mid 70s by noon, and then by the afternoon we go into the lower 80s. There is a very slight chance we could get an isolated thunderstorm late in the day, but most of you will stay dry. 59 to start, 77 by noon, high temp 82. Southerly winds are going to be light at about 5 to 10. All right, let's go into tomorrow night. We start to see some changes. You can see these isolated thunderstorms through the evening hours. Then most likely after midnight, we're going to watch a complex out toward our north and to our west. This will slide in. We'll have to see kind of what forms as we get into tomorrow afternoon. But there's a good chance some of these storms could be strong to severe. You can see this is late tomorrow night, 5 a.m. by Friday morning, very heavy amounts of rain. So Friday will start very similar to what we had today with the clouds and the showers and thunderstorms. Just the rain will be much heavier as we get into Friday morning, and then we'll clear out by the time we head into Friday afternoon. High temperatures right around 80 degrees. So we are going to have a severe threat. This is really for tomorrow night. I would say after 10 p.m. We're going to keep all of the threats low, but something we just want to watch as we get into the daytime hours for us tomorrow. Another factor, rain. It's very saturated. We don't need any more rain right now. We need to dry out just a bit, but rainfall amounts with this next batch, a lot of areas could pick up an inch, maybe upwards to 2 inches of rain, but it does start to look up. By the time we head into the weekend, a little drier pattern, also a much hotter pattern as we get into early next week. 82 tomorrow, 83 Friday, 88 Saturday, 93 on Sunday, and we hold into lower 90s through the beginning of next week.
Hot for a while.
Yeah, it's summertime.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
There's that. I remember. Thanks, Doug. And the city of Diamond, Missouri issued a boil water order. They say that they've discovered a broken water main west of the city. Now, the boil water order does not affect everyone in Diamond, but it will affect those west of the Martin Road and B Highway intersection who are on city water. That boil water order is going to remain in effect indefinitely. Here's a look at our tower camera, sponsored by R.E. Smith Construction, as work continues on the KOAM More Power project. Check it out anytime on our website, koamnewsnow.com/power. Jacob here now with sports. Big day today for Pitt State women's basketball.
The Gorilla women kick off their annual high school team camp today with more than 150 teams scheduled to come to town in the next 2 weeks. We'll talk about that. Plus, Kansas City Royals finally get the bats going today against Toronto. Those highlights and more next. Today is the opening day of Pitt State women's basketball high school team camp. That's one of the biggest camps in the region with 2 different sessions, one this week and one next week. The PSU has 71 high school teams in camp in session 1 this week. They'll have more than 80 in next week's camp. Now, each team that comes is guaranteed 8 games over that 3-day period. So definitely a big undertaking for the women's program at Pitt State with around 280 games in 6 different area locations scheduled in the next 3 days.
All the way around, it is just a phenomenal experience for, I think, everybody, and we're happy to host. We love that we have this. Like I told somebody, I ran out of room in the dorms, and they're like, well, that's a great problem to have. And so some of these things, it truly is. Like, it's a beautiful mess. We love it.
It's a little sentimental because you miss, like, playing with your high school teams a little bit, but you enjoy watching the younger group and that next generation coming up, and it's fun to see the talent that's coming up.
Tonight is game 1 of the Women's College World Series. The Oklahoma Sooners are in the tournament finals for the 3rd consecutive season. Now, the Sooners face the rival Texas Longhorns this evening in the opening game of the 3-game championship series. Oklahoma is 3-1 in 4 meetings so far this season with Texas. First pitch is at 7:30. We'll have the latest from this one right here tonight at 10. The Kansas City Royals are struggling a little bit right now. The Royals have lost 3 games in a row and 15 of their last 18 games. This afternoon, they're on the field at home against the Blue Jays, trying to avoid the 3-game sweep. A good start. Bottom of the first, Emmanuel Rivera singles up the middle. That scores 2. Royals go up 3-0 after the first. Now in the 4th, tied at 3 until Salvador Perez, RBI single of his own, scores Andrew Benintendi. Kansas City back up 1, and the bats would stay rolling today in the 6th. Carlos Santana doubles on a line drive to right. Perez in easily from 3rd. At that point, it is 7-3. They would get another. Whit Merrifield in the 7th. Doubles here to score Michael Taylor. Kansas City avoids the sweep 8-4. 8 runs, the most for the Royals in a game since May 15th. As for the St. Louis Cardinals, they try to even their series with the Rays tonight after a heartbreaker in extra innings last night. That game just getting started with no score in the bottom of the first. We'll have an update from this one right here tonight at 10. And that's a look at sports. We're back with more news after this.
Take time now to honor a local veteran. Fred Rakestraw served in the U.S. Navy from 1941 to 1945. The Lamar, Missouri native was stationed on the USS Texas, and we are proud to salute Fred Rakestraw. He's a 4-state hero. You can learn about lots of other heroes, more than 3,000 of them in our database. You can also submit a hero of your own anytime. It's very simple. Go to our website, KOIMnewsnow.com. Here's a look at what's coming up on KOIM News at 9 on Fox 14. We're going to have more on the Friendship Fields Day Camp for area Girl Scouts. Plus, Crowder College auctions off some tiny homes built by students. And details on an alleged assassination plot against a U.S. Supreme Court justice. Those stories, a lot more tonight on KOIM News at 9 on Fox 14. Sky looking pretty pleasant at the moment. Some blue, some puffy clouds out there, but some more rain chances, storm chances still ahead.
Again, tonight's going to be quiet. Tomorrow, most of the day is going to be quiet, but we do have a big cluster that is going to affect us tomorrow night, so we need to keep our eyes on that. Then the heat starts to kick in.
What are you going to do about that?
Something,
you
man.
talk about it all the time. You never do anything about it. Final sports notes.
Pitt State first baseman Garrett McGowan, an academic All-American named today.
We'll see you at 10. Let's make it a great evening.